Well, good luck with that. See ya! Well, good luck with that.
Okay, second time's a charm. I'm new back, so it's expected there'd be some errors. Just made a whole video, but I'll have to remake it. This eNation YouTube channel, back after half a year, almost a year hiatus, but I only have 2 subscribers, so it's not like there's really that many people that missed out. We'll just consider that like a soft launch, and this is the real launch. I started out with a funny video with a topic I haven't really talked about at all yet on this channel. And yeah, so I saw in the video, it says, when she lets you hit, then starts talking about how she needs a few bills paid.
Well, good luck with that.
Classic. Yeah, it had me dying laughing, and it kind of motivated me to do another video because I just want to react to it on camera. And I just think that it's funny because, yeah, I can definitely relate to the situation. I'm 31, and even when I was like 19, I can remember situations like this where you start talking to somebody, everything's going good, and then you get with them, or you're making out with them, or everything's going great, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I have this problem, that problem. It's like, what do you want me to do about it? And I think some people might think that's rude, or that, like, yeah, well, you're not a real man or whatever. But I think, like, I was saying this in the other video that didn't get that ended up not getting recorded. But my thing is, like, this channel is about, like, my opinion on the way to go about things, and like what I think is the best route. In my opinion, unless you're married with kids or whatever, or going down that route, or you had children outside of marriage, which I have a whole opinion on that. I don't think that's a great idea. Unless you're in that scenario, I don't think there's any reason that you should be like paying someone else's bills. It just doesn't make sense. It definitely doesn't make sense to do that for sex. That sounds to me like prostitution with extra steps. You know what I mean? Like, what is the point in that? If 2 people like each other, like if a guy looks at a girl and is like, oh, she's attractive, and the girl looks at the guy and says, oh, he's attractive, I want to talk to them, and then you turn around and have sex together, or you start doing stuff together, why should the guy have to pay for that? You like it. And if you don't like it, but the first things I said aren't true, you don't like them, you don't want to be with them, you don't want to do these things with them, like, he shouldn't pay for you to do that. If you don't want to do it, you shouldn't do it. Like I understand it's the world's like oldest profession, but maybe that's just an even bigger argument for why maybe it's obsolete. Maybe we should let it die. If someone doesn't like you enough to do the stuff with you, maybe you shouldn't be doing it with them, because it's just pointless. And it's like J. Cole said, in that one song, money can't buy you love because it's overpriced. And that's honestly true. Like, to keep someone who only wants to be with you if you do things for them, it just becomes impossible. In my experience, it never works out. And the minute you lose the things that they want you for, which isn't you, it's your stuff, you lose them. It's like what happened in Wolf of Wall Street. If you've seen that movie, the main character, he's got money, he's scamming people, and he's doing a lot of like gray area things to make money, and he has a wife, but then he gets in with a new woman, and she knows he has money when she meets him, and then things start going sideways where he's starting to lose money, and he's starting to get like investigated and arrested, and like things are going downhill, and she leaves him, and he's like, oh, what type of person are you? And she says she's gonna leave him, and she's like, you married me. And it's like, it's messed up, but at the same time, it's like, well, he did sign up for that. He got with someone who was like that, and he should have never done that. Like, maybe the wife he had originally was, at least in the movie, I don't know about in real life, maybe the wife he was with originally liked him for the reasons I named at first, where it's like they actually like you and want to spend time with you. But the wife he married the second time, at least in the movie, I don't know about in the real, because it's based on a true story, no, she just was in the second scenario where she was just with him for the money and stuff. And as soon as that's gone, you're screwed. And it's like, what's even the point in that? But yeah, someone in the comments said, a lady in the comments said, that's why you tax before they hit free game. It's like, that's true if you're trying to, sell your body, but I just don't agree with that. I think that people should just be with people that they genuinely have a connection with. So I definitely wanted to hop on and make a video about that. And as far as I'm concerned, like, just imagine like this bottle is like women. Then this bottle is money, like your money. Like, I think they should be like this. They should be separate. They shouldn't be like this unless you're like married or you have kids together where you are now have to, you know what I mean, like you have a responsibility. So at that point, okay, it's together. But if you're just dating, or even if you're dating for someone for years, I dated someone for years, and our relationship was great. And you know, we would go out to eat. She would send me Cash App for her half the meal, like unless I was like giving her a present just because I wanted to. I wasn't. It wasn't like if I didn't do this stuff, like it wasn't gonna work out. Like it shouldn't be like a huge thing. You know what I mean? And like people, I used to always get confused about that because I was with the person for 5 years and I was watching stuff online, and I look at people go back and forth in the comments on who's gonna pay for dinner, who's gonna pay for that, who's gonna pay for that. For 5 years, I was in a relationship where we just split it, and it was never even a thought to me. And I always thought it was so weird. People hinge so much on that, but you need to look at it logically. Like a guy's running around going on dates, and you want him to pay for those dates. Why? Why does he have to pay for your time? If you like him, you should want to spend time with him. That's like, see, like it shouldn't be like, well, I don't want to do it, but if they pay, I'll do it. It's like, so you don't want to do it then. Like you get paid to do things you don't want to do. If you meet a guy and you want to get to know him and he wants to get to know you, why would he have to pay you for that? It doesn't make sense. It sounds like an ego thing. Or like saying it out loud, it sounds like an ego thing. And it's like if you're that self-absorbed, like it kind of just come off as like being self-absorbed because it's like, well, I'm so important, I'm so this, that you need to pay for my time. It's like, yeah, when you're working a job, but going out and having a meal, like to meet somebody, it's in both your best interest because you want to meet, it should be in both your best interest because you should want to meet people and they want to meet people. And like, that's always been my favorite type of people. I've dated people who, I remember this one girl I dated, she was nice. I always think back on her. I always think like that she was like one of the most, when people like with her head on, like the most straight that I ever dated. And I remember we started talking online. We started hanging out. Then you know we got more serious. And once we were more serious, she said like, "Yeah, I'm happy you came around because I was lonely. Like I was alone and I wanted somebody." And it's like she wasn't worried about if I paid for dinner. We didn't even go to dinner. This is back when I was 20. And we didn't even go to dinner. We just hung out, and then we started doing stuff, and then we started dating. I think we went to the movies once, but I don't even remember. I don't think I paid. I think that I just paid for myself, and she paid for herself. But yeah, like she was like, "Oh well, I was alone. I didn't have anyone, and now I have you, and I'm happy that I have you." And I was like, "No, this is great." And we hung out, and we did stuff, and we spent time together. Like that should be the payment. I think that's the best, in my opinion, is the best relationships is when all you really have to spend is your time and attention. Like that's what I think, and on both sides. You know what I mean? And like you shouldn't have to pay for sex. Sex should be a mutual thing. If they don't like, if you're not sexually compatible, then what's the point? So we're not sexually compatible. So I'm gonna have to pay you to have sex. It's like that's prostitution. That's not like. It doesn't sound very healthy. You know what I mean? I think if you're trying to have a healthy relationship with people, that's not the way to go because it'll always be like you'll always see people as just a tool to be used, both on the guy side and the girl side. And no, we're not tools. We're human beings. Like you have to treat people accordingly. Like guys shouldn't be treating women like tools, and women shouldn't be treating guys like tools. So, like you can if you want to. It's like that. Like as long as you're not doing stuff to people without their consent and you know their legal age and everything, fine, you can do it. But I'm just saying, like, I don't agree with it. I don't think that it makes logical sense to do. So yeah, I thought this would be a great video to come back in with. Let's see. That one's no. I'm looking at the comments, see if there's anything I can reply to. So I ain't gonna lie, gang, it was good. You said that car note was how much? And says laughing. Like that's funny, but at the same, think about this. Oh, this is what I was thinking before when I said this is so we're both grown. These are two grown adults. Let's say I'm 31. Let's say I meet a girl who's like 28, and she starts talking about, oh, I can't pay my bills and blah blah blah. You know what I think, and I think this for men and women when they start saying this stuff to me. I'm like, why can't you pay your bills? Like, don't you have a job? You have a job, don't you? What happened? Like, why are you? I'm like, what happened down the line, like especially once you're near my age, like when you're like 30, 28, it's like you've been an adult for like 10 years. It's like how are you in this boat and what kind
See ya.
ooh, hit the keyboard getting all hyped up. But yeah, my thing is like you're older now. It's like it's like they're gonna say, well, I need money. I'm like, no, you need advice. You know what I mean? You need somebody to criticize what you're doing, because how is it possible? Like if you have like he said, your car note's how much? I would ask the same thing. I'd be like, well, what do you need? What do you need money for? And they're like, oh, well, I need money for my car note. My car note's like $400. And then I'd be like, why don't you have? Well, if you can't afford that car, why do you have it? Why didn't you get something else? Why don't you take the bus? Like, why are you sitting here? You're gonna have sex with guys and then ask them for money to pay for your car note? And I seen a guy on YouTube who said this before. He said like, which is a good point, which I've experienced with a woman that I talked to in the past, is which is something you got to look out for as a guy. Like, if you're looking for something more, where it's just you and them, and you're trying to build something with one person, even just like a relationship, even if it's a relationship of just dating, not like building a family or anything, but even if you're just trying to build like something where you hang out all the time, it's just you and them having sex or whatever. Something you got to worry about is like, let's say you do pay the car note, you got to worry about them having like, just because you're paying your car note, you're not together. That doesn't mean that some other guy can't be paying, like can't be paying for like her phone bill and her rent. Like, how do you know you're the only guy? How do you know this is like in that situation? It's like, especially when you're seeing people as tools to pay your bills. What's the difference? Dating one guy, dating two guys? Like, it makes financial business sense if that's the way you're choosing to live your life. Like, one guy can give you $300, another guy can give you $200. So I would just be careful about that. But to go back to what I was saying before, really, like, these are adults. Why, if you're trying to make the argument that, oh, well, men should pay these things, they should be providers and this and that, it's like, this is not the 1800s or the early 1900s where women can't just support themselves. Like, I work in tech, and I've had plenty of women who are my bosses. I've had plenty of women who worked alongside me, and even when I worked as a contract employee for the government, for Department of Disability, I worked as a contract employee. They were making like way more than me. I worked with 3 different women, all a little bit older than me, and they were all making like I was making like 17 an hour. They were making like 70, 80K. So I was making what, like 40, and they were making like 70, 80 because they were actual like government employees. So let's not play like this is some world where like this is what is necessary. Like, guys need to take care of women. Like, no, it's just budgeting. You know what I mean? It makes no, like, I don't like that argument. I don't like the argument of like, oh, well, you're a guy, so you should do it. It's like, people don't like it when that argument's flipped, when you start saying, well, you're a woman, so you should do this and you should do that. It's like, no, just because you're a certain gender doesn't mean you should be doing certain things. And if you've watched any of my old videos, if you start with any Christian or religious justification for these things, that's just like, I don't believe in that stuff, so I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, well, that makes sense because of this. Like, in my opinion, that doesn't make sense. And the thing is, like, things move forward, things change, and we're supposed to adapt to those changes. We're not supposed to just get stuck in our ways. And things have changed. It's not so easy anymore for like one person to foot the bill for a bunch of other people for like a girlfriend or for this and that. And it's really not fair anymore. Like before, like, okay, maybe like back in the day it made sense, but now it doesn't. But yeah, let's see if I can find anything else funny here. I got time. Start coming back out with a long video. Let's see. It says you got to start going band for band with them and tell them how far you are behind on bills. I don't get it. I can't respond to that. It's not grabbing me. Let's see. It said no cat. It's got a cat picture. You can imagine what he means there. Is that good that I would pay rent and bills for him? Words to live by. I honestly think, like, yeah, it's not that serious. It can be great, but it shouldn't be like, so, like, you shouldn't, Well, I guess it's not about how good it is to me. It's more actually about just that you shouldn't do it. It just doesn't make sense. It's like you start paying, it's just a giant hole. Let's see what else. Yep, if she wants you to pay her bills, it's time to say deuces and tell her to get her job. She probably has a job. She's probably just doing that to do it, because people like it's kind of like those people like that are on My 600 Pound Life, where like someone's feeding them. Like it's like if they didn't just get there, someone's like enabling them. It's like an enablement thing. Like they probably met a guy who immediately led with money, and then after that they started to expect that, or they just got in the habit of that, and now it's just kind of devolved to that. Or they just were always like that. They always thought, oh, I'm gonna meet a guy and he's gonna give me money and this and that. And guys do lead with money a lot, so it's not entirely on them. It's really a shift that people need to start shifting away from that. But yeah, I enjoyed making this video. If you have any comments or concerns, feel free to comment. Feel free to put them in the comments. I'll be in there and we can talk about stuff. It'll be fun. And keep your eyes open for the next video. I'm gonna come back out with a few more. See you guys.